Hey family, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to talk about some of the twists and the turns in this whole Diddy case. And some of these things I have touched on in my prior videos, but now, I always look at things from a legal perspective, typically. And so now we get to, there's somebody kind of substantiating some of the things that I've said in the past. I do believe Cassie is a victim, but there's still a but. We're going to have to look at this with a different lens. So let's jump into it. Can somebody just jump in the comments and let me know if you can hear me? Because sometimes I'll be off kilter when I'm going live. I don't know if y'all can hear me. But if somebody could just let me know that, I would appreciate it. And we're going to get into the video in just a second. Please, somebody, be kind. Give your sister a break and let me know if you can hear me. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video with laughs, gags, and gossip. Now let's get into the mess. Okay, thank you guys for joining me today. So we're going to get right into this. Like I said, can somebody just let me know if you can hear me? Hey, Great T News, thank you for showing up, everybody. Like the video. And also, please go check out Great T News. He's a wonderful, just a fabulous content creator. I mean, he's on day. I just don't know what to say about this man. He is extraordinary. He's given me a lot of encouragement, just really down to earth and very consistent in reporting on this celebrity gossip. So go check his channel out and please like the video. So we're going to jump right in. Great T, can you tell me, can you hear me? I hope y'all can hear me. Anyway, let's get right into all of these new developments in the Diddy case. And I'm probably talking fast because I know everybody's busy. It's Memorial Day weekend. People want to be outside with their barbecue and all of that stuff. So let's get into it. So one of the first things that everybody was talking about was who leaked those videos, right? Who leaked the videos? Yeah, people were saying it was the feds because they want to, show Diddy that they have an airtight case against him and all of this stuff. But for those of you who know me, I used to be a litigation secretary for 8 years. So I kind of think of things legally, but I ain't gonna lie, I was jumping on the bandwagon because the evidence was somewhat overwhelming and the, sources were saying that it was the Fed. So how do I know? I'm just on here like everybody else getting my information. But in my mind, it would still seem kind of sketchy because if you work in a law firm or any legal cases, that leaking evidence or information, you can jeopardize your job. Now, I don't know what legal strategy this would be with the feds or Homeland Security to leak a video like that, but I mean, it's possible. So I didn't think much of it. It was like, oh, okay, well, the feds leaked it, whatever. Then it was rumored that, who else did they say leaked it? Oh, then they said that Cassie leaked it, right? The reason I don't think Cassie really could have leaked it is because she has an NDA. And after the settlement with Diddy, any information and evidence and those things like that, even if it became a criminal investigation, she would be barred. I mean, she could face some problems if she went behind the scenes and leaked anything. Anything that was disclosed in that lawsuit that she was given allegedly $30 million for, that would be a problem, especially if it circled back to her. She would almost forfeit that money. So, I mean, you would have to look at the, the agreement in terms of what they agreed to. And, you can't say this. Remember when Diddy was speaking on or giving his apology and he never said her name? And it's possibly because when you enter in agreements like that, I have been in one before with a company that I sued. It's just you're very limited in the things that you can discuss. So I feel like I don't believe that Cassie leaked that tape. Now, some people still think that. But let's circle back. I think about a month ago, I did a video. We could look at the date. This was in January, February. So it's March. So a couple months ago, there was somebody who came out, and it was published by TMZ, that somebody right after the raids, somebody had went online or contacted Diddy. I don't know how they got the information, but it was saying that there was an NFT listing saying that they have footage of the rapper, and they were going to sell it to the highest bidder. And if Diddy or somebody didn't give them, I think it was 1.5 million. I don't know how that translates in cryptocurrency, but they were going to release some footage. Okay. So now we got the feds, we got Cassie, and we have this person bragging about this and asking for $1 million. So, and as I stated in my video, I did a video about this, that there's footage of all of us floating around. You can't go anywhere in the public without there being some surveillance video now. So I really believe that somebody is in possession of more videos, and I do believe that more videos can come out. If somebody has some of this footage, it could be his security team, people who, was doing his security monitoring at his home. They could very well be in possession and have a treasure trove of footage of Diddy. So that's one thing. Now we're going to go, I was going to show you the TikToker that said why she didn't believe the feds leaked the tape. And I think I should show you that, because now that I'm hearing this and just knowing, just how things work legally, I'm kind of in agreement with her in terms of why it would make sense for somebody to release it. But anyway, let's listen to her talk about it.
I'm an attorney in real life. I don't play one on television. Let's talk about who leaked the tape of Cassie being beaten by Diddy and why it is a sign that things are about to get really bad for Diddy. So I've heard a lot of people say they think the feds leaked the tape. The more I think about that, I don't think that's true. And let me explain why.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Sorry, you guys.
50 Cent just exposed Kim Kardashian for her connections to Diddy's crimes. Oh, he is not stopping until he tells everything that she was hitting from so long ago. Well, so
I don't know what I did. I was trying to make it louder. So let me go back. If I could even get back 1 second. Trying to get back to where it was. I don't know what I hit, you guys, but it seems like I can't get it back. But I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. If I can get it back as I'm talking to you, I will share it again. But she goes on to state that, she goes on to detail why the feds would not have leaked that videotape. So now we're going to get into what is coming out in the last day or so. There's an article on Media Takeout, and I know a lot of people don't really believe Media Takeout, but trust me, I've been reading them for years, and I'm gonna say about 75% of what they report pans out to be true. So Media Takeout is reporting that Cassie leaked the Diddy tape to avoid federal Rico charges, that she's the Ghislaine Maxwell, that's the same woman who was charged in the Epstein case. And so it says Sean Diddy Combs may not be the only person to get indicted federally for trafficking. Media Takeout has learned that a prominent Florida criminal defense attorney is saying that Cassie may be fighting indictment also. And I did see a different post. I actually saw where the attorney posted it. I saw it on a different article, and there was an attorney that posted it. So Media Takeout has just picked it up. It says, let's see. From left, American real estate developer Donald Trump and his girlfriend, former model Melania, financier Jeffrey Epstein, and British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell post together at a Mar-a-Lago club, Palm Beach, Florida, February 2000. I'm kind of reading fast, you guys, because this to me is not the meat of what I want to tell you. The lawyer Bradford Cohen, who defended Kodak Black and other high-profile defendants, claims that it was Cassie who leaked the Diddy tapes in an attempt to avoid federal charges herself. Now, I believe that could be true. We saw the videotape of Diddy, abusing her. However, and she filed a lawsuit stating the things that he did. But y'all think about it. The same way that this young lady has come forward recently and stated that Diddy had Kim Porter doing things to her, and another one of Kim Porter's friends, Cola Booth, has come forward stating that Diddy made Cassie do things to Kim Porter. Listen, what we're seeing is that Diddy has a tendency to bring these women in and then they become complicit. Now, is Cassie a victim? Yes. I think most of us believe that she is a victim, but are her hands clean? I've said this before. Cassie's hands may not be totally clean. Did Diddy abuse her? Let's take a pause for a minute. It's no different than when you see these pimps and prostitutes, these sex workers, right? Their pimps will beat them up. They will do the sex work because, Cassie is claiming that she was an ex-worker with Diddy, that she would go out and solicit the people. That's her telling us that Diddy made her do it. However, there are other people who may be coming forward saying, it didn't. How do we know? We don't know if they were co-conspirators. We really don't know. That's the problem. I'm not here to make the judgment or make the decision as to whether or not she's totally truthful or who's right or what's wrong. I'm telling you that when you look at it from a legal perspective and when you start bringing in witnesses and bringing up charges, they're going to look at everybody that had a hand in it. You can throw out a tape saying that you were physically abused or assaulted to kind of, say why you did what you did and why you stayed. However, there's some things in her lawsuit that kind of make you, that I believe that Diddy's attorneys will be able to use against her as well, or that if there are RICO charges, that they will be able to say, ma'am, you participated in some of this. She states that after he assaulted her in the hotel, remember, she talks about it, that the hotel workers told her to leave. I don't know if it was the same day or what the time, how much time had lapsed, but she said she thought that they had seen the tape because some of them had told her to leave, don't come back, but she went back anyway. So those things are not going to work in her favor. 2 days later, she was seen on the red carpet smiling with him. And we know that women, who are in those kind of abuse situations, that they often go back to their abuser. But the problem is that there was large volumes of money that Cassie was allegedly given when she was going through these things with Diddy, right? So that's going to be a problem for her. The fact that you can say that you were abused, but you also took gifts, you also took 50,000, 100,000 Birkin bags, all of these things, it muddies the water a little bit, because now we're not looking at a battered mother of children who had no recourse or nowhere to go, although she's going to say, well, I was intimidated, I was scared. The average prostitute could say that too. You were out there ex-working, giving the money to the, at what point is there some accountability? And so I think that's what this attorney is saying. And it's saying it's an explosive claim that the attorney is making using his expert opinion on criminal matters. Cassie essentially, in my opinion, is a co-conspirator. She probably took part in many of the situations where there are allegations of misconduct. Leaking the tape, and now the statement reinforces her position that she had no choice on the matter, thus tries to avoid any criminal liability. And see, I wasn't thinking of it from that perspective when I was looking at it from the beginning, where I definitely felt like she was a victim, and I didn't go to this point. But my mind, I always felt that, well, if you were getting the workers and you were like, how much do you have to do? How many times before you can continue to say you were just coerced? How do we really know that you weren't part of the problem? And maybe you got some lumps and bruises along the way, but you participated. I mean, it's almost like saying you were, you know, and this is not a good analogy, y'all. I ain't even gonna try to act like it is a good analogy, but let's say if you're part of the mafia and you go out and murk people and then something happens to you, it's like you were part of the organization. You know, you kind of took the risk and you played along with it as long as there was a benefit to you. And I think that is hey, Prosperity Thick Girl, hi. I'm not saying that Cassie is not a victim, but now through a different lens and through different eyes, she might be facing some Rico charges. And it just based on, you know, these criminal attorneys and attorneys that handle Rico cases and stuff, he's just giving us a different perspective and a different angle to let you know that in the eyes of the law, even though we see that he settled the case with her because she probably has a lot of dirt on him. And remember, she also says that she stayed because he used blackmail techniques on her, saying, I have videos of you as well. Who gets to decide if he bullied her into doing that? Because I feel that most of us believe that he did. But at what point, seriously, was it like, I don't want to do it, but okay, willingly? Did somebody hold a pow to your head and make you do it? Did you ever have time and opportunities not to do it? And I think what even gets more, what gets bad is the fact that just like Ghislaine, is you recruited other people. See, that's where it's going to be a problem, because you know you want to say you were solely the victim, but you did possibly recruit others. The same way they talked about how Young Miami was out there trying to bring Krishan into the fold. Remember, I think this was maybe 5 or 6 months ago when Carlissa was talking about it, like, oh, they was about to get Krishan. I mean, she says it jokingly, but it's like Diddy has he has like a whole, that's how trafficking works. The women that are part of it sometimes become the women who partake and become the abusers as well. And I think that's where Cassie, I mean, you know, these are all allegations. Nobody knows if this is a fact, but this may be where Cassie is facing some issues, because we just really don't know, other than the fact that she did sue him. We don't know if the feds are looking at her like, well, ma'am, you know, you participated. How do we know? And so that, if you kind of know how the feds work, which I don't know that much about the feds, but that would mean that Cassie probably would, you know, be definitely cooperating with them, because she definitely does not want to go down for any of the stuff that, you know, that happened with Diddy. But it's interesting because now with the new information coming out about Kim Porter, and this woman stating that Kim Porter, you know, got her fired because of Diddy and all of this stuff, it kind of makes you look back and wonder, wow, okay, so you guys are saying that, and Kim Porter's not here to defend herself. People are saying that Kim Porter was doing bad things with Diddy, right? What did Cassie do? Diddy may be the mastermind and the total manipulator, but ladies, what choice did you have in some of these scenarios? Like, I think that's the problem. You know, you cannot claim all of this, that Diddy did everything, and, you know, you had no recourse. You had no window. There was no opportunity for you to escape. And the reason I even say that is because I've been hearing people talk about this the latest girl. I forget her name, but she's the one who has all this evidence against Diddy, right? The fact that she's alleging that he abused her, and she's talking about the Kim Porter. And I think they stayed together for approximately 4 years. They were off and on. And I heard a couple men, I was watching a video, and a couple men said, well, if that's the case, you know, if you were with Diddy and you knew what he was all about and he was with Kim Porter, why didn't you just leave? And I thought that was very telling. Why do you ask this one woman why she didn't leave, but you look at Cassie because you saw a video, and you almost absolve her involvement, and nobody is asking her the same question. And to be honest, and to be fair, more than anything, what we know clearly is that most of these women are with these men and in those situations because of the money. It's because of the money. You know, I know women stay. You be in love with somebody you might, you know, you get banged up on, and you stay with them, you know, and if you have kids, there are all sorts of reasons women stay with men. But when you're talking about receiving a $50,000 gifts and $100,000 in private jets and champagne and a fancy restaurants and hotels, it's kind of a different conversation. And it, to me, is very, very much almost like a typical sex worker for pay with the pimping going on and X trafficking when you start recruiting others, you know, with the Diddy. What role did you play? Just like Ghislaine, that lady. So let's listen back to the interview I did with Malika from Making the Band when we kind of talked about Cassie and her feelings about it. And by her being in the industry, she talks about the fact that women do a lot of things for money, you know, and X sales. And if you did participate in something, don't become a victim later. So let's listen to her say. I thought she had some, you know, she had a good I like what she said about it. So let's see. Ron, is she always I felt like she was the one very, very hungry to the point of kind of throwing herself at Diddy. That's what I saw. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but that's what I remember.
Your eyes probably wasn't deceiving you. It's not, this is what I want to say, as women in general, it's not literally just Aubrey. I've seen many women do that. It's just kind of like the same thing with Bill Cosby. Mm-hmm. You know, say, well, a lot of the ladies for Bill Cosby using this as an example. Oh, well, you know, I didn't want to jeopardize my career, and that's why I did that. Hold on a minute. So do you want the career or do you want the justice? Are you letting somebody play with you, or are you trying to make it? What are we doing right here? You know what I'm saying? So I think that I give off the energy that I'm not the one or the two. I've never, you know, put myself in a position to feel like somebody's going to use me or my body or play with me or come at me any type of sideways so I can get a record deal, which is probably why I ain't got 1 million records sold. But that's okay, because you don't hear my tummy. I get my money. I'm still, you know, a successful business owner. I'm a homeowner. I'm a award-winning marketer. Like, I'm doing my thing. I'm traveling, and I never had to compromise myself. So I'm saying in all of this, first and foremost, let me get this clear. Why we getting this out? Because like you were saying, a lot of people have been coming for me in the comments, like on Instagram and stuff. What I'm saying is, make sure that you're not selling yourself for the price of fame, and then after you get it or it's going dying down, then you want to cry victim. Because I can say what I have seen with my own 2 eyes, not just from Making the Band, in general, from being in the industry, how women are very, you know, promiscuous when trying to make it or doing certain things to make it. Do what you got to do to get where you got to get. And if that's, look, I ain't knocking your hustle, but if that's what your hustle is, don't cry out later on and become a victim. That's all I'm saying. And to anybody, I'm not condoning rape. I'm not condoning, you know, anything that's negative towards a woman. But what I am saying is making sure that you keeping your womanhood up to a certain standard, so you're not presenting yourself as someone that can be used in that manner. Because I feel like I carry myself in a certain manner where you're not coming to me like that. And that's just period.
It's interesting you say that, because you are from Oakland. And I saw an article a few years ago when things first started coming out about Diddy, and people were saying, well, did he ever do anything to Keisha Cole? And Keisha Cole said the same thing, again, an Oakland girl. Nah, he never came to me like that. So I don't know if you know, these men, if they see a particular person with a certain vulnerability, I don't know. Now,
yeah. I mean, I've seen it a lot. And I mean, like, I don't ever want to feel like I'm bashing women or anything like that. But like how women get a name of groupie or whatever the case may be, it happens a lot. And I've seen it with my own two eyes. So that's why when people asking me, I didn't see Diddy with my own two eyes doing this, but I have seen women throw themselves in positions to get to a next position and using, you know, your body or your sex appeal or whatever it is that women do. I mean, like they say, sex sells. But if you selling sex, sell sex, and don't say nothing about it when it's time to cash out.
Well, at the time that you were on making the band, and anytime like right before or after, did you ever hear any of those rumors about Diddy? Did you hear things?
I never did. And I never did. Like the whole time, honestly, I feel like when we was on making the band, Diddy, I feel like he was really busy at that time. I think the second time around that he probably was more involved, but he was always very professional. Now he was tough. Diddy.
I'm going to leave it right there. But basically, Malika was just saying, you know, that she's seen women in the industry do things to get ahead. And so it just kind of circles back to the fact of really what happened. We know that there have been multiple women that are victims of Diddy, but how much and what role did women play, especially if some of these women played a hand in bringing in and recruiting new people? That's the part that I always found strange. It's like, if you've been a victim of something, why would you recruit somebody else? And I know some people are going to say, oh, out of fear and all of these other things. And I get that. I really get that. But I think with these cases, when we're talking about celebrities and we're talking about lifestyles, it's just different. It's really just different. When you're talking about doing things and being involved in criminal activity and transporting drugs and stuff like that, and you're getting compensated, then I think that's very different. If you were being abused and, you know, and you can't get out and you're being threatened, it happens. But when you're being abused and threatened, but then you're given $50,000 to maybe $250,000 payouts, and you stay, that's a different scenario. And so you can't sweep it under the rug. Now, let me just say this. So after the whole Diddy raise and everything, and after Cassie filed the lawsuit, you know, I'm still saying that Cassie is a victim. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying we have to expand the net a bit, and we have to look at bring the Mess TV says some love, the power that comes. Exactly. I think that's the part where everybody just stopped looking at the fact that even though Cassie was a victim, she could have been a victimizer as well. I think we have to cast the net a little bit broader and ask these women, you know, yeah, you stayed and we know you were a victim, but kind of what role did you play in that? And the first time that I felt that it was kind of weird for me in terms of Cassie was, now everybody knows that Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, was a trainer. He worked for Diddy, and I believe he was like a trainer for Diddy and Cassie. To be honest, at this point, we don't even really know the relationship between Diddy, Cassie, and Alex. Who knows? I haven't seen anything come out in her complaint, including her husband. But let's say this, whatever happened, and I'm glad that she got out, you know, because she's been away from him for a minute. It was well played. Let me tell you when I started having a different perspective, which is when I saw this picture, because it just kind of made me say, wow, now this is interesting. Let me share this. Okay. So this is an article that came out, and it says Cassie Ventura attends Paris Fashion Week looking extra rich after getting Diddy's money. Well, you know, that's okay. She got Diddy money because she was entitled to it. She deserved it. Her pain and suffering after what he did, right? and I'm gonna just skip down to here. But this is what kind of got me. I was like, oof. What I saw was just another. There, I don't know if you guys are familiar. There was a video that came out maybe in the 80s, and it was like pimps up, hoes down, and it was like I think the pimps from Chicago, and they would have their furs on with their girls. That's what I saw when I saw this. It's like Alex Fine got with Cassie, working for Diddy, probably saw that, Diddy wasn't a good dude. Yeah, wasn't treating her right. And then they forged a relationship and figured out a way, okay? She says he helped her get off of the drugs and stuff and figured out a way to get some comeuppance on Diddy. Seriously, just seeing this picture right here with this fur, that was like, I mean, to me, the visual that I got, the optics from this just struck me like you kind of went from one male manipulator to possibly another one. And not that Alex doesn't love her or not that they don't have a loving marriage or relationship, but now you have to look at it like this. You got a payday on Diddy, but Alex Fine got one too. And now y'all standing up there in furs. It did not look good to me. The optics just look very, very odd to me. But let's go back to this article. So basically the article says Cassie, who now goes by Cassie Fine, was at Paris Fashion Week looking like $1 million. As Media Takeout reported, Cassie settled her lawsuit with Diddy for a reported $100 million. Now, there's debates as to how much she actually got. Some people are saying 30 to 50, but she got some money. Before that settlement, Cassie and her husband were living a very low-key life. That to me sounds like they were struggling financially, okay? Cassie's husband worked as a fitness instructor, and she was helping him grow his business. Y'all, they weren't doing well. And if you look at some pictures of Alex Fine, if you kind of start looking at pictures of him maybe 10 years ago versus pictures of what he looks like in the last few years, he looked like he was struggling. He looked a little sickly, and I'm gonna say he looked like he could have been he wasn't looking healthy. Okay, let's just leave it at that. So it says Cassie and her husband were living a very low-key life. That to me is just a nice term of saying they were struggling. So they figured out a way, again, not saying that she's not entitled, not saying that it didn't occur, but they figured out a way to get her over on Diddy. Seriously, in my opinion. Cassie is the one who was allegedly there and took the abuse. But Alex was privy to what was going on behind the scenes as well, I'm assuming, because he worked for Diddy. So they got together. It's almost like a Lifetime movie, right? Like, they're working for this man, this mogul who has this power and he's doing people wrong. These two fall in love and they come up with a scheme like, oh, he's wrong. He's done some people wrong, but we gonna fix, we got the information. We can hold it over your head. We could sell it and get some money. We can blackmail you. I mean, it's reading like a movie. So this goes on to talk about, it says, but now that Cassie got $100 million from Diddy, she and her husband are living the high life. They were spotted all over Paris wearing some of the most expensive clothes that money could buy, including matching furs. Now, if that don't just seem like, wow, we came up on you. They got you, Diddy. They got you. You did a lot of people wrong. And these two that you never suspected. I mean, that's how karma works, though, right? It's not like they didn't deserve it. But he never suspected these two employees, these two lowly, these little peons to bring his empire down, because that's exactly what has happened. When I first seen it, I said he is going to make her drag Diddy. Oh, okay. Those furs were before the lawsuit. He had said he was going to make Diddy pay in a tweet. Okay, interesting. See, I didn't see it until the fashion week, and that's when they showed, you know, the pictures, and they were all over Paris with the, you know, and if you go, like, if you look on her, if you go to her Instagram, I think she posts the picture after. I don't believe it was posted before in terms of the first, but you know, I don't know. But that's crazy though. I mean, him saying that he was going to make Diddy pay. I used to see him make little comments and tweets, and you know, girl, that's deep. I didn't know. Low key means broke. Exactly. It means broke. If you go and you look at some older pictures of him, I'm just trying to be nice, y'all. It looked like, you know how you see some people that live in trailers? That's kind of what it looked like he was looking like. I would really like to know what their life was like before this suit. Not that it makes a huge difference. You know, she won. He folded. He paid it. So clearly he was guilty of something. But I think now with the new allegations coming out and the things that, you know, are coming out about Kim Porter and how, you know, all of these women, Diddy used them to pit each other against each other. I think we're starting to see a different side of some of the women, you know, like Young Miami, when she was going at it with Gina, and she was telling her, if all I have to do is tell Diddy and he'll make you lick my, you know what? So is she going to be considered a victim like Cassie if something comes out about her? Because people were dragging her. You know, I was like saying, wow, you know, that's low. Why would you say that to another woman? But what we're finding out too, though, is that they may have all done that to each other. In order to get in his good graces, you had to put your pump on the next woman's neck. So does that make you a victim? You could still be a victim, but you're a victimizer as well, right? I mean, where are we drawing the line? Where are we drawing the line? So it looks like, you know, Cassie and Alex Fine, baby, they got together and they were able to get information on Diddy. Of course, she had it because she was part of it. And I mean, it was a very strategic, smart move. I personally don't think that Cassie leaked those videos, though, because I think that would be in violation to their agreement. I don't think once you sign something like that, I'm forgetting what it's called when you have, I don't know, it could be considered an NDA because you have non-disclosure agreements in your corporate jobs. If you know, certain companies you work at, you can't talk about, you know, intellectual properties or, you know, proprietary information. But I think once you sign that lawsuit, I really don't think that she has a legal standing to release anything. Let me see what Bring the Mess TV is saying. I got a cough real quick. Hold on. Right. And don't forget, Mary J was at every party and on all those boat trips and there for his star on the boardwalk. Exactly. Now that, ooh, girl, you brought up a good point. Mary J Blige, you know, low key, they're throwing her under the bus too, because they're saying that she was having relations with that singer who sung with Tupac before Tupac got unalive. I think his name is Danny Boy. There's some videos floating out there about her messing with him when he was underage, and Suge Knight was involved. I mean, all of these people, they were just totally violating and disrespecting anything that had to do with age. It's what I'm learning now, if you were in the industry, I don't give a damn if you was a toddler. You know what I'm saying? Everything was fair game. It's sick, but that's what we're starting to see. It's horrible. She seems like she may have, girl, child. People don't want to say, nobody wants to say it, but now that's probably why. I mean, with the federal investigation, she has to work with the feds, period. Even though she signed the, you know, non-release form or whatever, that she won't disclose any of the details of the lawsuit and all that, anything else that came out, she would have to work with the feds, because even if she's on those tapes that they have, there's no way to prove that she was not the ringmaster. Just as what you're stating, she seems like she may have been the madam. She could have been the madam. I mean, we don't know. I mean, legally, in the court of law, we don't know who did what. Diddy settled that case, which means, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's guilty. That's what I believe. But if we look at it from a legal perspective, we have no way of knowing that before we see if there's a videotape of her, Diddy, in a F off. We don't know who coordinated it. Did she want to do it? Did she ask Diddy to be a part of it? Like, there's just no way of proving that at this point, right? It's going to be her word against him. Now, this whole thing of him dragging her in the hall, that shows that there's abuse involved. But I'm telling you, listen, I was a secretary for years. These lawyers are so crafty, just like this one that I just read, how he's going to say she had a hand in it. He could have said, oh, we was doing together and she assaulted me and what you saw me running out the room, because he's already trying to say that she was stealing from him and something about the fact that he snatched the bags up because it was money or items in the bag that she tried to steal. We know how they lie and turn this stuff around. I keep saying it's not who is telling the truth, it's who has the better argument, who can create the best story. That's what we're looking at here. I totally think that Cassie is a victim, but I'm also not sure that Cassie wasn't just like Bring the Mess TV said. Oh, and y'all, let me take 2 seconds out. Bring the Mess TV has a YouTube channel. Please go check her videos out. I've just recently subscribed. I love her. She comes on camera. I love the fact that she comes on camera. I like her videos. Go check her out. She's funny. Good content. Good content. Go check her out. Go subscribe to her channel as well. But I believe, just like Bring the Mess TV is saying, she could have been a madam, just like, and I don't know if they would call it a madam, but she definitely could be considered as somebody who was participating, if not even in control. Like, we don't know what their agreements were. I mean, remember that movie 50 Shades of Grey, when they have people that I have forgotten the terminology, but you know what I'm saying, when they agree to be tied up and do certain things. All of this stuff has to come out in court. And just because you see a video, listen, I'm not stating that Diddy is right. See, I think this is the part where being when you're doing your YouTube videos, where people will listen to bits and parts and go, oh, you're for Diddy and you support him. No, I'm just talking about, just from a legal perspective, based on some new information that we have, how there are going to be technicalities that are going to possibly implicate Cassie, and why she will have to work with the feds, because in the Rico case, all parties involved can be charged. You will have to prove that you weren't the ringleader. You participated. They don't know to what degree. If we go rob a bank together and you say, I forced you to do it, I mean, how do they know what we discussed in the car? Of course you're going to say I forced you. Even if, certain stuff we can't say on YouTube. Right. We don't know that she didn't agree to do that. We don't know that she didn't agree to be the there's the master and the slave thing, that kind of thing. We just don't know. We definitely not on Diddy's side. Absolutely not. We're not on Diddy's side at all. But I think what we are starting to see, though, is that Diddy is going to be able to have an argument that some of these women participated and were right alongside. They was Bonnie and Clyde with him. Bonnie and Clyde until the shit went left, right? Now all of a sudden it's me riding solo. No, baby, you knew everything we was doing. You did this for 10 years, and it's all me. That's all I'm saying. With these Rico charges, and just like what this attorney is saying, the reason that she released the tape is because she wants people to be on her side, to say, oh yeah, he's totally, he intimidated her. He was violent. She had no choice. But the fact is that there was one woman who left Diddy, this latest girl who's coming forward and suing him. She was with him for 4 years, but she left. So you can leave. It's a choice. And this young lady, if you read between the lines, after the first couple of times that Diddy roughed her up, she even states herself She went back because of the opportunities. She went back because of the way that he wooed her with flowers and money and gifts. So these women continue to go back because of the financial benefits, right? So that's going to be the thing. That's going to be the thing where it's going to be difficult if like Young Miami, because they're saying Young Miami may also be one of the women that they're bringing into this case as well, and all of the other ones. Remember, I think it was Daphne. Is it Daphne Joy, 50 Cent's baby mom, that they're also saying was an ex-worker? See, they're calling these women ex-workers. If in Little Rod's complaint, he refers to them as ex-workers. Okay, so that again is not stating that they were necessarily a sex worker. Is somebody that could be seen as who did it willingly. So there are all of these different intricacies in the law that they're going to have to look at, and where is everybody's accountability and how complicit were they in all of this activity, right? You can't, if you got 10, hold on, let me see what Bringing the Mess TV is saying. You know, he filled up Young Miami house with flowers after she so-called, exactly. I remember that. I remember that. And again, that's a good point that you just made. I forget what they fell out about. Do you remember? I remember there was something. Thank you, Grape Tea News. I remember there was something where they had some kind of falling out. It might be the whole Gina incident or something. And she allegedly had broke up with him. And then the next thing we know, baby, he had more flowers and more roses in her house than a florist. Again, that's going to not work well for her, because why? She posted it. It shows that whatever happened, she was willing to put aside for the gifts. Not only did you take the gifts, it's not like you took them back reluctantly. You bragged about it, girl. You was out there flaunting the roses. Hey, we had a rift, but look at what my man does for me. See, these women are out there promoting a particular lifestyle. I mean, those are the things that, in a lawsuit, when you with an attorney and they say, well, you did this, you did that, and he did, because, okay. Grape Tea News says, hey, Bring the Mess TV showing love. Yes, it was Gina. You guys remember, and this is old school, but these are still legal things. I mean, these things, even though it's television, a lot of it is how, legal cases are argued. Remember when Judge Judy would say, somebody would sue somebody, or let's say if I loan you something and I charge you 5 times what I should, the payback, and then I try to sue you for the money, and Judge Judy would always say, you have unclean hands. Like, you can't break the law and still try to enforce the law. You know what I'm saying? So if you do something wrong and you do something illegal, you can't thus come back and then get legal recourse, because your hands are dirty as well. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Like, it's hard to know where the line is drawn in the sand, where you're fully a victim versus where you're a victim, but also a victimizer. I mean, it's a fact. So let's see. So that is why, these new reports that Cassie is cooperating, definitely true. I don't know. I haven't heard much about Young Miami. I'm sure everybody named in those lawsuits are, cooperating with Homeland Security. Who wouldn't? Hell, I mean, if they looked at a video and told me to, comply or work with them, I would. So, because it's in their best interest. Everybody part of the organization has a hand in the organization. Remember with R. Kelly, when they tried to bring charges against the people closest to him, the people who were making the flights. Remember the women, his assistants, who were booking the girls to take trips and everything. Everybody was looked at as being part of this organization. That's part of how the Rico works. Let's see. I bet the FBI talking to them. Exactly. I mean, you're going to talk whether you want to or not. And if you weren't on any of those tapes, they don't know if you were coerced to be on those tapes or if you were a willing participant. So, everybody has to probably defend themselves. And it sounds like, now I don't know if this is true, and I don't even have the video. I saw it in another video. Somebody saying that one of the ex-workers came forward and wasn't saying anything good about Cassie. This was maybe a couple weeks ago. And I don't know, I didn't listen to the full thing because at that time I was like, everybody's going to say something. Everybody going to say, any and everything now just to come forward. So I really didn't capture the information. But the person was just like pretty much stating that it was a Diddy Cassie show. Now, the person making those statements, they don't know if Diddy forced her to do these things, So that's, again, it's hearsay. You don't know what the agreement was between Diddy and Cassie before you entered the picture. You can only go by how Cassie treated you or what you did with her, right? So, I mean, it just gets so sticky. It's just so messy, but I think it's very interesting that now we're seeing that, Cassie may have to defend herself. And I mean, for $30 million, hell, she comes out winning anyway. Either way, she's good, But if there are charges now and possibly her being implicated and maybe having to face some criminal charges as well, I mean, it's sort of like, everybody got a pow on each other. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. I mean, this is crazy, And so we have Kim Porter that they're saying was doing stuff to women, Cassie, Young Miami. I haven't heard much about Daphne Joy. I haven't heard that she, was involved with bringing other women in. But Little Rod claims that she was an ex-worker. So what does that mean? Does that mean you were recruiting people? Does that mean you just participated in the F-offs? What does that mean? 50 Cent came forward and pretty much called her a prostitute, right? So I just think with the more information that is coming out, it looks like it's not just a black and white case of, just these women all being victims, which they are victims, but it may be also, it may extend to them actually helping Diddy get more women and, projecting a particular lifestyle so that other women want to be a part of it. I mean, that's how it kind of works, right? These women, just like in where you see the prostitutes and they out there dressing nice and they meet somebody, yeah, girl, our man is good to us. Why don't you come in and we get clothes, we get money, we get taken care of. And then the person who doesn't really know the game, they don't really know what the lifestyle is like. They're looking at the money like, wow, these women are dressed up and looking all pretty. And then once they become part of it, they realize it ain't what was sold to them, right? And I think that's how the game goes. So anyway, it's interesting what they're saying about Cassie. I'm gonna wrap. I'm gonna go back to what they're saying about Cassie and just wrap it a minute, just so we can know what we were here for, right before I close out. So just to remind you how things are taking a turn, we'll have to stay on top of it and see what comes out in the next few weeks. Well, probably the next few months. We've been waiting for an indictment. Well, and that hasn't happened, but people are saying it's near, it's coming. Diddy will be arrested soon. But basically what we're hearing is Cassie may have leaked the Diddy tape to avoid federal RICO charges. She's the Ghislaine Maxwell, or that's what they're accusing her of being, possibly her role in all of this. And Ghislaine was she was charged and is in prison, right? So we have to see. Sean Diddy Combs may not be the only person to get indicted federally for trafficking. Media Takeout has learned that a prominent Florida criminal defense attorney is saying that Cassie may be fighting indictment also. So there's your turn of events, right? So anyway, you guys, thank you for coming today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you on the next video. Wait, before I go, let me see what y'all saying. I wonder if they are checking Kim and the first doctor case. Okay, so excuse me, you guys. I'm so sorry for coughing. I'm coming out with a cold. So Kim Porter's case, I watch. I love this channel. It's called it's Paperwork Party or Paperclip Party. Go check them out, you guys. I love that channel. They have a petition to get the Kim Porter case reopened. Yes, and the doctor, there are a lot of people looking at that doctor. There's another celebrity. You guys know him. I think he was on Friends or something. And they're saying that his case was suspicious. Remember I can't remember his name. But all of these deaths in Los Angeles that were just ruled like, even Twitch, his name has come up again. Like all of these cases where they're alleging or saying that it could be self-unaliving, that they're starting to go back and say what's really going on in Hollywood. So Kim Porter's case, they're talking about the fact that that case could be reopened. I think they need 1,000 signatures. He has reached out, Paperwork has reached out to the local coroner's office or whoever handles stuff like that. And they're talking about reopening that case. That's a fact. You said, Denise Tab said, hey, Denise, welcome. You said, yes, they are made accomplices. See, that's what I'm getting at. That's how are we really going to draw the line? I mean, I know everybody's outraged with the video of we see a man abusing a woman, but let's keep it a bean. And this is not right at all, but this is what happens on these street corners in these urban cities. You see these women hitting the pavement, seeing the difference between, I think the reason why people are looking at it, Cassie, so differently is because we're used to seeing this. I'm in an urban environment. I'm in like a Bay Area, right? So you know how it is. I'm sure it's the same way like in Chicago, all of these big cities with urban populations. You see pimps and hoes, okay? And we see them on the stroll and we see them get bopped. People don't say ish. You see what I'm saying? They walking, they getting the money, they getting drug up and down. I see it. You see it. I mean, growing up where we grow up, where I've grown up, we will see a woman get snatched and popped in a heartbeat. Nobody raises, it is what it is. You just learn that, that's he beating up his, We see Cassie, however, with a Diddy who you would think that they're part of elite society. It would never happen. Cassie is not walking the strip, the blade, like in Los Angeles. What you see her is on the red carpet. So you're not thinking anything like she's a hump. And I'm not calling her that, but I'm just saying, when we're talking about ex working and money and all of that, where's the differentiator? You know what I'm saying? So people look at it differently. I was saying we should have the same empathy for all the women. If Cassie is getting popped and it's a problem, then these women walking the blade getting popped is a problem too. I don't care. What's the difference? Because one is doing it with high clients, rich men versus the ones that's hitting the blade, hitting the block and walking. It shouldn't be no difference. Girl, Diddy running to Florida with Russell. Yes, people are saying that he is gonna be going to Bali, not just Florida, but he gonna be going to Bali. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Which again, if he got some common sense, I mean, they said his jet was all up and down the coast about when he was raided. I'm surprised he hasn't ran yet. It definitely in Chicago. So bring the mess TV is saying in Chicago. Yeah, we turn up. We don't care nothing about seeing these women. You will see women get beat up right in front of you and people won't say nothing, but you see it with Diddy and Cassie and all of a sudden it's like the world done spin out of the orbit. Of course I have empathy for her. For my personal family in this environment, I've had my cousin left dead in a hotel room strangled. You know what I'm saying? So we see women abused all the time. And I'm not saying I'm desensitized, but I'm saying I want to see the same level of respect paid to these women hitting the stroll that you see for a Cassie. What's the difference? Because she's on the red carpet, because she was with a Diddy, and she got paid from what from what she say, she got paid way more than these girls that hit the block. You know what I mean? And it sounds like to some degree he was a pimp. That's what it sounds like to me. I look at it a little different. Bring the Mess TV says I meant Bali. Yeah, yes, Bali. Grape Tea News says like the video. Thank you again. Great. Thank you for being here too. I really appreciate it. Lacey C says right. That's the part that really irritates me is, I feel like Cassie is a victim, totally a victim. But we see, and here's another thing. Cassie, when they came out talking about Cassie doing stuff to Kim Porter and laughing at Kim Porter and, Diddy bringing her to the house, to Kim Porter's house. And these are all allegations. Kim's not here to defend herself, and nor do we know if these are facts because it's somebody else speaking on behalf of Kim Porter. But when all of these things came out that Cassie used to taunt Kim and, do things to her with Diddy, people said, oh, she was young. She was only 18. Yeah, but 18 in this country, you can do a lot of stuff. You're considered legal, okay? So how are we excusing what she did? But when you got 13 and 14-year-old girls out here being trafficked, it's a whole different mentality. Oh, well, they fast, they hot, they wanted it. It's and primarily, of course I'm Black, so I see things through a Black lens. I see things through melanated eyes. I can't lie. It's totally different. We treat these girls different, You don't see the same compassion. You don't see the same empathy. Oh, well, hell, they was hot in the tail. That's what they wanted. Nah, what's the difference? Because Kim was dark chocolate. That's another thing. They talked about the fact that Diddy, would bring her color up into this, and use Cassie's complexion over Kim to kind of put her down. But it sounds like he was doing that to all of them. He was playing whatever little insecurities or things that he thought he could use, for one against another one. That's what he would do. Like, I think as Kim Porter got older, he would use the younger women against her too, talking about her age and everything. I read that as well. So he was just doing some mind manipulation. But I also realized that these women who were the new girls, how they bring in the new chick comes in and she thinks she's the belle of the ball. She's the new hot girl. The new hot girl that becomes the one that you was ridiculing, right? When you was making fun of Kim and laughing at Kim, you didn't realize that at some point the tide was going to turn and you were going to become the new Kim, because that's what sounds like happened. So anyway, y'all. Okay, I've been on here for an hour, bending your ear. I thank everybody for being here. Bring the Mess TV, Lacey C, Grape Tea News, Denise Tab. Thank you guys for joining me. Like I was saying earlier, go out and enjoy your Memorial Day. Don't eat too much, because, we eat too much, then we got to try to lose that weight on Tuesday, right? But anyway, y'all have a good time. Be safe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.